The Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship headed north of the border to Scotland for rounds 19, 20 and 21 at an undulating amphitheatre of motorsport, Fife's Knockhill circuit. It's a uniquely spectacular setting and one that always attracts a partisan crowd, with spectator stands filled to the brim welcoming reigning champion Gordon Shedden back onto home turf, along with fellow Scots Aidan Moffat and the returning Dave Newsham. With space at a premium on the short 1.27 mile track, qualifying is always a tricky affair. Practice 2 pace setter Tom Ingram led the opening throws, but with an air of inevitability ahead of his 500th race start to come in Sunday's opener, BTCC legend Silverline Subaru BMR Racing's Jason Plato then put himself in the mix, sealing the deal with a lap record smashing time at the very end for pole position. The race began in steady fashion, with the top 6 drivers all running the Dunlop Sport Max soft tyre as you were on the opening lap. Out front, Plato had made the ideal start to his landmark race, a quick getaway cementing the lead, while Matt Neal's Honda nudged Adam Morgan's Mercedes into a spin further down the order, shortly before Andrew Jordan traded positions with Colin Turkington for 5th at the start of the second lap. Turkington's race was compromised by the move, as it was clear his Subaru Levorg was quicker than Jordan's Ford for much of the contest. The duo ran side by side during lap 8, but Turkington had to wait until lap 14 before he could finally snatch back 5th place. Jack Goff, in fine fettle after a season-best P4 in qualifying, had passed teammate Sam Tordoff and Tom Ingram's Toyota by that point, and now, up to 2nd, began carving into Plato's lead. The safety car was deployed on lap 20 after Dan Welch tipped Warren Scott's Subaru into the gravel, which ironically threatened to derail teammate Plato's chances of victory. Scott's Levorg was retrieved by the marshals and the race was soon underway. The excitement in the closing laps came from Turkington as he carved his way past Tordoff with a sensational move at the restart. He then grabbed the final podium position with an expert late move by Ingram at the hairpin on the penultimate lap. The BTCC's most successful driver managed the remaining laps with consummate ease as the late challenge from Goff failed to materialise, leaving Plato to notch up a memorable victory, his first of the season and his 95th in total on his 500th start, while Goff toured home an impressive 2nd and Turkington a battling 3rd to complete the podium. The returning Dave Newsham, stepping into the Power Max Racing Chevrolet, came home 7th. Shedden, on his champion's return to home soil, managed only 9th. The Knockhill crowds were then treated to a real BTCC classic in the second race of a sunny Sunday in Fife. The cars tore away once more in status quo at the head of the field, with Plato firing his Subaru off the line expertly with maximum success ballast on board. Further back, it was 4 abreast into Duffer's Dip, with Matt Neal taking avoiding action and contact sending Martin Depper straight on into the barriers, forcing a safety car. At the restart, Sam Tordoff looked racy, forcing a move around the outside of 4th place Tom Ingram at the hairpin at the end of lap 6, before setting upon Turkington's Subaru ahead. Andrew Jordan reeled in and made his move on the Toyota a lap later at the same spot, shuffling Ingram backwards into the clutches of Matt Neal, quietly making progress from P8 on the grid. Out front, it was a classic scrap between the lead Subarus and Jack Goff. Plato was cannily parking his Levorg in all the right places, leaving Goff open to attack from Turkington behind, the latter eventually making a super move stick at the chicane on lap 10. Tordoff wasted no time in latching onto the back of the Subaru after he too made his way past Goff. At the end of lap 11, another move instigated at the hairpin, this time from the BMW, let him pass the Northern Irishman with a good drag over the timing line and set off after Plato. The lead trio diced viciously for several laps, with as close racing as you're likely to see, with positions being traded by the lap. All the while, Matt Neal was making his way up the order, Plato's defensive masterclass, as he contested with ballast and a feisty duo right behind, left the field bunched tight. On lap 23, a coming together between Goff and Turkington left the door open for Neal to pounce into 3rd, taking 2 in one fell swoop. The squabbling was incessant as Tordoff passed and was then repassed by Plato on 2 occasions before Neal once again made his mark, fighting past the BMW into turn 1 on lap 25 before bookending the tour in perfect style down at the hairpin to take the lead from old foe Plato, who'd fought valiantly but couldn't prevent Tordoff following. The triple champion tore away and over the line to take a quite stunning victory in one of the races of the season, having fought his way through from 8th to boost his championship credentials once more. The Halfords Yuasa Racing Honda was followed in close succession by Tordoff and Plato, completing the podium as Turkington, Collard and Jackson filled out the rest of the top 6. For race 3, it was Matt Jackson who was drawn to take the reverse grid pole, and off the line it was all action once more as the drivers picked their way through the opening corners. Jackson doing a commendable job of keeping Rob Collard's soft tyre-shod, fast-starting rear-wheel drive BMW behind off the line. Collard and Colin Turkington squabbled behind the Motorbase Ford, and that scrap eventually spilled over on lap 8 as Turkington's Subaru tapped Collard's BMW into a lurid slide. As the damaged BMW straightened out, further contact ensued and both cars were fired onto the grass and out of contention. This brought Tordoff, Plato and Shedden into play as Ford battled BMW, Subaru and Honda. The quartet remained inseparable throughout the remainder of the race, but all attempts to make a pass were rebuffed by a masterclass of defensive driving from another of the championship's most experienced heads. The lead quartet was covered by just 1.2 seconds as the checkered flag fell, but it was Jackson punching the air as he roared by his delighted team members on the pit wall. Tordoff and Plato completed the podium, with the Halfords-Yuasa Racing duo of Shedden and Matt Neal finishing 4th and 5th respectively. With Rockingham to come in just a fortnight's time, and with 3 events to come, it's Sam Tordoff who leads the drivers' standings once more, as he and Matt Neal leapfrogged Rob Collard in the title running following another frenetic weekend's racing. Just over 40 points separate the top 6 in the standings, and we all know how quickly that can be overturned in the BTCC.
Well, Sam, another great weekend for you here at Knockhill.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, it's nice to extend that championship lead, or get the championship lead back, if you like, from Rob, my teammate. And 3 great races, a 5th and 2 seconds is probably more than we could have hoped for, to be honest. And we've really hammered home the BMW advantage, and looking forward to Rockingham in 2 weeks' time.
A very different challenge that circuit presents, doesn't it?
Yeah, very different. Very fast, very flowing. And the only time we ever get to use part of an oval. So turn 1's very exciting, being on the banked part of the corner. So it's one that I've gone particularly well there in the past, and it's a mixture of challenges, really, is Rockingham. It's got some technical sections, but then some long, fast, sweeping corners. So difficult to get right on setup, but one I'm really looking forward to.
As you say, we're on the oval there, so a massive, great big stadium full of fans. It gives it a very different atmosphere, doesn't it?
It's probably the one event you can go to where you can sit in the grandstand and see every part of the track. You know, there's no other race circuit like it. You can sit, you know, in the stand and see from turn 1 right the way to turn 12, 13, whatever it is. So, yeah, it's a great one for the fans. Certainly, you don't miss any of the action, and one the drivers enjoy, I think, as well.
Who should people be watching out for there? Who do you think are the drivers who are going to be pushing for the wins?
Well, I think the Hondas could be strong there. You know, the other variable is, of course, we have the hard tyre there as the option tyre, so that's completely different to every other way we go except for Thruxton and Croft this year. So again, an unknown there. None of us have ever been to Rockingham on the hard tyre, so that's going to pose a challenge. But I expect Honda to come back strong. I think they'll be raring to go after a very average Knockhill.
And you'll be raring to stop them?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, we've got a championship lead to protect, and that means 3 points finishes, and hopefully we can extend it a bit further.
See you there.
Thank you.